A little disclaimer and the fine print. Everything I say and I post on this channel need to be taken with a little grain of salt. I live my own dream, my own reality. You live your own dream. It's a unique experience for everyone and is made of a bunch of data, friends, school, life experiences, including data from your five senses. You're unique and you live your unique experience, so you might not agree with everything I'm saying. About God and communication with God. Of course, everyone wants to know who's God and um, how to talk to God. Some people want to talk to God because they believe that getting information from God gives them power. Other people want to know. So the need to know everything, including about people and friends, it's coming from the need of being in control, wanting to be in control. Right? So I know a bunch of people who need to know everything. And if you look at those people and if they believe in God, they would love to talk to God, to extract information to help them know their future and stuff like that. So that's a selfish. The root reason is a selfish reason, and it comes from ego. Then some people want to feel important. They want to talk to God so they can brag about this power, so they can impress people. Same thing, it's ego. So those people cannot talk to God. Why? Because they already have emotions that do not belong to God. They are emotions from evil. So those people, if they try all sorts of methods, meditation, they try drugs, they try mushrooms, uh, they will always receive data from different entities, different creatures, but not from God. If you look at people who received messages from Angel Gabriel and other kind of a divine, godly creatures, including from God, they have a very interesting and powerful life story. Last night I started to watch a bit about Moses, and I was really impressed. It's a little word. I never knew the whole story of Moses. I only knew little bits and pieces from different sources about how he saved the, his people, and that story or legend, how he split the waters and stuff. So I didn't know much, but I watched a documentary. My English is not really good, and I saw some sort of extra data about his childhood and how he been saved uh, or spared from being killed as a boy, as a newborn. Uh, and I thought, wow, those people is like it feels like they were designed, so their life story was designed in a way so they got protected all the way to achieve a special mission. And of course they were able to talk to God because God was part of the design. So God designed their lives, or worked miracles along the way, so these people could achieve a special life mission. Same thing with Jesus. So God chooses certain souls, certain spirits, bring them to this realm of the material world and assign them a mission. But there are many who are chosen, but not everyone is able to fulfill that mission, God's mission is given to them before their birth. Some people fail, so there are multiple souls coming here with a great story, and some people get carried away by the material life and world, and only people, some will wake up and we will see the signs, will realize that they are a little bit different, and they have some sort of extra fields, like some psychics have those things, but I'm not talking about the psychics who learned psychic skills and are connected to other spirits in order to gain powers and money and stuff like that. I'm talking about psychics, naturally born psychics. Now, to shorten this little monologue here, I want to say that it really helps these people when they go through a hardship or a challenge. And two things that came up, and I thought of it and I thought to share. Moses went through a desert. So he was traveling in the desert and was hungry and thirsty and all that. And at the time he was in this state. Possible, nobody knows, possible that being exhausted, being deprived of bodily needs, the mind disconnected from the body. Somehow the mind is able to ignore the body needs, the body signals, and now is connected to the soul. And at that time, the mind is processing divine information. The mind is kind of going to the database, into the main frame, main computer, and is accessing certain information that is according to that spirit state. So if the person is a clean person, is not a sinful person, or is not a sinner, it has a higher chance to connect to a higher level beings, or higher vibe, I would say, beings. And those beings have access to data, have access to all sorts of information. And these people, being into that type of state, disconnected from the body, then they have less data to process, because the body gets a lot of data from the five senses. And usually, being in the material world, that data takes over. So I see stuff, I hear stuff, I feel the wind on my face, I feel the cold on my fingers. So that's a lot of data, and the brain focuses on that because it's part of the survival and existence here on the 3D material realm. But once we disconnect, then we can process different type of data, and people go into sensory deprivation chambers, like floating into kind of a tank loaded with salt, and they feel nothing. And now it's kind of helping them to quiet the mind, and some people can connect with other places, but it all depends. So if the spirit of this person is loaded with bad data, with garbage, let's say a sinner, a person who had lots of trauma, abuse, or maybe some hate or some other type of nasty emotions, those will put this spirit into a certain state. And when they disconnect from this realm through sensory deprivation, including those people traveling through desert or getting lost in the woods or going hungry because of being lost or whatever, uh, their state of soul will connect them to different data of a lower level that is accordist or is tuned with this type of spirits who tend to do bad stuff from our perspective as a human beings. And in my perspective, maybe if we take different reference points, let's say some killers who want to join the army so they can kill more people. Um, those are lower vibe spirits, and from their perspective, their perspective is different. So uh, they may not see a killer or a bad person as a bad person. They may see, let's say, a nasty inmate. A nasty inmate might see a thief like an interesting person, or maybe a tough guy or something. But they might not think that these people are sinners. Or if you look at some people who have no God in their mind, they don't have a reference point related to what's a good soul, what's a good person. It's the way they perceive the world and people, and good or bad, is related to their life experience. So those people likely will encounter bad entities, bad stuff, bad experiences. And I did watch a bunch of testimonials on YouTube, people who took mushrooms and got nasty experiences. And these nasty experiences were linked to their state of mind before they entered the experience. So before they took mushrooms, if they were into an unpleasant state, they had higher chance to get a nasty experience when compared to those who did not drink. They were like relaxed, calm, and those who got a better experience. Same thing with sensory deprivation. Some people go in there with fear, and that fear will give them bad experiences if they are able to connect with or disconnect from the sensory body material kind of a feel and let the mind to connect to something else. And again, so I'll conclude this video here. There are a couple of requirements, and I don't have a list or anything to suggest you what's the requirement, but what I noticed that one first thing is important, that the person is sort of chosen by God. God knows his type of spirits and assigns them certain type of mission here. And those people generally go through major changes in their lives. Or maybe they are very clean souls. They are very kind people. They have some extraordinary type of mindset. They are sort of achievers in a human spirit. They move people. They have this type of leadership. If I look at Moses' story, he was a people leader. He did not have great speaking skills, but he was a people leader. Same thing with Jesus. He grew a big church just because his skills of gathering the right people to spread his mission, spread God's word. Yeah, so that's then another possible requirement is that people disconnect from their physical body temporarily so they can kind of process the messages that come from God. And God knows when to broadcast the message. So God is not just talking all the times, hoping that the message goes across. God likely monitors these people and knows, or maybe gives them signs, or give them a little hint, knows exactly when these people are able to receive the data. Like Moses was able to receive the data when, after being exhausted and after he went through the challenge to climb Mount Sinai or Sinai. And Jesus also is known in the Bible that he went to the desert for 40 days and evil was like a Satan was talking to him or something like that. And it doesn't mean he was in a bad state of mind talking to this entity, but he was able to communicate somehow because of the state of mind he was in. And very possible he was able to access the data. So what I noticed between the two, a similarity, Moses was able to, once after he talked to God on the mountain, he was able to bring some information about Noah, that big ark, and other type of historical events that he could not have without having access to the database that contained the history of the humanity, the future, the present, and the past. So that's a database of events that is being recorded. Some people call those Akashic records, but in order to access those, you need to have a special state of mind. And very possible when he went to the mountain, he went through some change. Maybe God caused a switch into his being, so he was able to access the data, and that's the way he became prophet just after encountering God on the mountain. Same thing, Jesus, not I can't say, and I don't know if it's written in the Bible, if Jesus had these extra abilities um, to connect to people after his experience in the desert for 40 days, or he had it long time before that event. I'm not familiar with the Bible writings, anything like that. But what I noticed is that uh, he had this ability to read the future like a prophet. He was able to predict what was going to happen just before he got killed, or before he got caught and judged by these people. So he was able to see the events with clarity, and he was able to tell his disciples what was going to happen with a pretty accurate detail. So that was my kind of opinion about these special people. There are lots of special people who have certain qualities, but their state of soul cannot tune them with the information that is related to God. God is kind of living in different type of realm and is broadcasting, let's say, certain channels. So you cannot tune your radio to listen to certain music if your radio is out of band. Let's say if you bring a radio from Japan, like I have in my car, it cannot receive too many channels in Canada, or it will not receive any channels from Russia, because it's designed for different type of band. Same thing, information from God is not designed for any type of soul. Some people try to tune themselves, but they cannot just tune mechanical edges, just in taking crystals, taking powders, and uh, raising the vibration through new age stuff. No, no, that's it's a BS. Try. People try different things, hoping they can talk to God. And I told you what's the reason. It's ego that makes them people want to talk to God, to be in control with things, to see the future, but it's all serving their ego. And those spirits are not high enough because the ego is dragging them down, right? So again, if you have ego, pride, all sorts of things that are from the devil, from the evil, those will drag you down and will tune you outside of the God's band of broadcasting the data. So it's an analogy. Again, take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Bye bye.